Hello, people of the world, people of the great wide world on earth. You have come here to earth. Did you choose to come here? Or was this just, you just blossomed here? The universe essentially chose you to be here. There's no way to know the answer to that. We are spirit beings packaged in these meat puppets. The body and the mind have control mechanisms that we can learn, but it's not obvious. It's not like an instruction booklet where you can open it up and say, oh, this, that, and the other thing. Because, well, basically, we should root ourselves where everybody tells it not to be if you're going spiritual, which is the emotions. I might be exaggerating a little bit with everybody, but emotions are that unique position. They have a unique position of being between the mind and what we think of as ourselves, and that craving necessity of the body, whether it needs sleep or food or these sorts of things, addictions. The emotions are that bridge between the mind and the body. But what do you do with them? It's really tricky, but if you pay attention, I think you'll be able to relate to these ideas with your own common experiences. So essentially you have the body, which has its endocrine system. And the endocrine system is all of the ductless glands that dump straight into the bloodstream. A friend of mine once told me he was going for a CAT scan or something like this, and they injected something into him, and he could see on the screen his body. And when they injected it, it wasn't like it just kind of flowed up one vein. No, it was instant. It was through the body, like almost instantly. Boom. The body blood flow is so pervasive and so well tuned. Once those ductless glands drop things into the blood, they're felt immediately. Well, what's so remarkable is that these different hormones that these glands produce are correlated directly to emotional states. It's absolutely remarkable. With that in mind, it's not exactly what we're going for, but something to be aware of is that with your mind, by visualizing yourself in different situations, you can trigger the release of these hormones. You can trick yourself to release hormones on purpose. You can contrive a mind state that will cause the body to respond. That's really powerful information. Yogis, high-level yogis, who do a lot of breath work, well, if you ever look at a well-done yoga book, and it will include the nadis, the energy channels, as well as the chakras. And one thing you'll notice is that each of the chakras is related to a gland. The endocrine system is directly related to the chakras. What does that exactly mean? Well, off the page it might mean one thing, but when you're in the body, experiencing the vehicle, trying to get a grip on it, that's really where the meaning lies, in the exploration. That has to take place in you. It has to take place in the individual. So, people pursue meditation thinking it's some state far off. And I do believe there's a subtle spiritual transition that's able to happen within the state of being. But generally speaking, anytime you're caught in rapture of the beauty of nature, your mind is suspended, and it's almost like the spirit can breathe through you in that moment. It's an experience almost, I would venture to say, everybody has had. There's a term samadhi. It means absorption. There's not just one kind of samadhi. This is in Vedic meditation studies. There's not just one kind of samadhi, but there's many kinds of samadhi. And our purpose here right now isn't to have a full, in-depth understanding of Vedic meditation. But the idea of this aliveness yet vacancy, absorption, the mind itself is absorbed into what it's perceiving. The I that is perceiving has been absorbed into the experience. That's not to say any experience that will fully absorb your consciousness is healthy, but through our past experiences, our present experiences, and being attentive to future experiences, when that absorption comes in the future, or when you might remember an iconic moment where something happened and it seemed astoundingly real from your past, childhood, just perhaps it involved nature or something else. Just being aware that those states are in our experiences goes a long way to helping us access them in the present and on into the future. Why do we want to access these states, these samadhis, these absorptions? It's because the mind is always going to be, as a tool, a reference to a self with a mind understanding something, thereby by its very premise being outside of the thing it's observing. But because the being itself is what's aiming to meditate, the mind has to be absorbed into that process. And that absorption is one of the first great steps towards meditation. Why do we want meditation? Well, the sages recommend it. I guess I'm putting it forth just on the basis of the authority of the sages, that it's worth the effort. What more is there? We have these beings, we have different states of laughter and sadness, of waking up, and of all sorts of states, of being hungry, of feeling like we need to brush our teeth. There's all these different states. Each one is a bundle of thoughts. And yet, it's possible to find Zen in these different states. In fact, I believe it's the Tibetans who will develop slogans or sayings to focus the mind in these various places. Like if you're walking through a door, I'm not sure that this is anyone's actual slogan in Tibetan Buddhism, but as I walk through the door, I enter the Buddha field. I am entering the Buddha field. If I was a person using a slogan in this way, I would generate that state of mind every time I pass through a door. It's not ultimate salvation, but it's a pearl on a string of pearls. And over time, this habit of collecting, turning inward the thoughts, it's a habit of turning the thoughts inward. That's the real main first quest, is develop a habit of turning the mind back towards itself. And this collection of mind stuff is able to help us into a trance. The great Shivananda Sarasvati, he said, choose the heart or choose the third eye, whichever is more natural. If you're a feeling person, choose the heart. If you're a thinking person, choose the third eye. Either way will get you to the goal. And just continually focus your energy there. Hey, the voice of a master. Be good, do good. How far do you want to take it? There's nothing you need to accomplish in life to be successful in terms of the spiritual reality. And yet there are things available to you as a birthed human that are profound. And the value, should you pursue them, is inestimable. can't even communicate the level of awesomeness of being able to be conscious of your being in a more direct way. I'm a lover of God. I wish that for you. But whatever your ishta in this world, it's good enough. It's good enough. You are good enough. Let your thoughts relax. Let your mind be absorbed. Om Ram. Om Ram.